Welcome back to the Chicago White Sox Draft Only franchise. We got through the month of August, and we are falling down the standings, not going to make the playoffs. And I said we were going to put Jac Caglianone into the rotation, and that is definitely going to happen. September call-ups, I did not call up any of our top prospects. I'm going to save that for another day. And what I did was call up Colby Thomas and Nathan Wiles from AA just to fill out the roster, backup players, and not mess with our team at AAA. And what we're going to do here is we're going to sim through these games. So we have one more game with Kansas City, Davey Garcia, Cole Reagans, then Cade Cavalli against Shane Bieber, and then I adjusted our rotation. These guys are pitching a normal rest. Hagen Smith will take on Tanner Bybee, and then Anthony Medrano will take on Gavin Williams. And then in this series right here at Toronto, Jac Caglianone is going to make his Major League debut as a starting pitcher. He's already pitched an inning in relief, but he's going to make his starting pitcher debut on the road against a horrendous Toronto team. They're 42-97, so hopefully that will help us. And he's going to face another top prospect, Trey Yesevich. We've seen him in a futures game, and he's up and pitching this year very close to 100 innings for Toronto. So that's going to be the game that we're going to highlight in this episode. We're not going to watch the whole game. We're just going to watch Jac pitch. And when he's out of the game, we'll just sim out the rest of the game. I'm making him the DH as well, so we should be able to watch him bat the rest of the game. But we'll just sim Toronto's hitting and get through that game. And then after that, depending on how the month goes, I might throw in another player lock or some other moments or whatever. But we're going to get through the entire month of September, get to the end of the season, and I will sim the World Series so you can see who won that and show you award winners. I think Jack was almost a lock to get the American League Rookie of the Year. Take a look at that real quick. And there he is, hitting 287 with 30 and 82. So I don't think it's even going to be remotely close. So that's going to be our third Rookie of the Year in a row. And that will get us another first-round pick. And I will show all of the award winners, National League and American League, kind of go through some of the league leaders so you can see where players are in the league. And as their seasons end, the regular season for AAA and AA, I will hop in and show you their final stats. Some guys that played at both levels, you won't see their stats for both teams. We'll just see the team they finished the season on. But we'll give you a complete wrap-up of this season. And then I was not planning on doing an off-season and spring training episode, and I have changed my mind. We're getting to the point where we don't need to be spinning this one extra episode because we're not doing very much Rule 5 draft picking. We're not doing any trading. We have one trade left to make. But I am going to do it because I'm going to tell you right now, there are several players down in AAA that we're going to call up. They're going to go on the 40-man roster this offseason, and we are going to bring them up to spring training next year, and I will highlight those guys in the spring training episode. The offseason shouldn't take that long. I'll speed through it, and we can spend more time with spring training because it's going to be multiple players, and that will lead us right into the start of season 5. So without further ado, we will see. Without further ado, the next thing you see is going to be Jac Caglianone on the mound against the Toronto Blue Jays in his first Major League start. And I was not sure if we were actually going to use Jack as a starting pitcher at the Major League level, but it's time to do an experiment and see how well he does. There we are at the Rogers Center, taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, who are knocking on the door of 100 losses. On the mound for the Blue Jays, Trey Yesevich. We've seen him in the futures game before. You can see he's had a decent season so far. ERA's a little high, but nice strikeouts to walks. And the Sox will go down 1-2-3 in the top of the first. So we'll head to the bottom half and see Jack on the mound for the first time. There he is. He had one game that he pitched in relief in a sim, and he kind of got lit up on that. Hopefully he'll do much better as the starter. And the first batter he's going to face is right fielder Jonathan Clase. Jack's 1-2 pitch is strike 3, check swing. And he gets his first strikeout as a starting pitcher. There we go. Good job, Jack. And that'll bring in DH Roberto Valdez, switch hitter. And he's going to strike out on a high cutter. And quickly, 2 down here in the bottom half. In steps Bo Bichette. He's probably going to be the only name you recognize in this lineup today. And he's going to strike out as well. So nice start by Jack. First three batters, strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. Could not have started any better. As we head to the second inning, there is no score. There's Jack's stats on the year. 284, 31 bombs, 84 RBI. Easily in first place for Rookie of the Year in the American League this year. His first at-bat against Yasevich. Nobody on, nobody out. And it's going to be a tapper up the middle. Bichette dives, knocks it down, and he's not going to come up with it. And Caglianone gets an infield hit to get this inning started. Doesn't have to hit nukes every time. That'll bring up Art Rocha. He's had a really strong season this year at the plate. And here's a shot into right field. Class A drifting back to the track, to the wall, and it's going to be gone.
You can put it on the board. Yes!
Art Rocha going deep in the second, gives the Sox an early lead. Didn't look like that ball had enough to get out of here, but we have an early bomb, and Art Rocha continues his breakout season. Way to go, Art. And that'll bring in Ryan Ward. He's also having a breakout season. You can see career high in home runs with 18. His average dipped back down a little bit lately. And nobody on, nobody out. 2-1 pitch. It's going to be laced into left field down the line. It's going to be backhanded by Martinez down there. Throws it in and keeps him to first with a single. So Sox aren't done yet. Actually, they were, because a double play would get rid of him. And we go to the bottom half of the inning. White Sox lead 2-0 on an Art Rocha home run to right. And here we are in the bottom of the second. First baseman Ivan Melendez up, and he swings and misses on the Vulcan change and strikes out. So Jack, starting the game, first four batters have all struck out. And that'll bring in second baseman Will Wagner. And he's going to take strike three right down the middle as well. So 5 up, 5 down, all by the K. Wow. I must have been really wrong to not try him in the rotation. And Gabriel Martinez is going to make it 6 in a row. My goodness, 6 batters, 6 strikeouts. And the Sox are dominating early. Jack, a hit, a run scored, and 6 Ks through 2 as we go to the third. Get Colson Montgomery up right now. Roman Anthony lined out for the first out of the inning. 3-2 pitch from Yasevich is going to be shot into left center field. It's going to be back, and that should be extra bases off the scoreboard. Throw comes back in, and Monty's going to be at second base with a 1-out double. The Sox have another runner in scoring position here. Chance to add on. Anthony would line out to third, and that brings up Caglianone now with a man on second and 2 out. 2-2 pitch, and he swings and misses on a big curveball for the third out. So Chicago does not get the runner home. As we head to the bottom half of the inning, it's still 2-0 good guys. All right, leading off, Elvis Martinez. Toronto has not even put a ball in play yet. 6 up, 6 down, all by Ks, and they finally hit the ball in play. There's a pop fly behind first base and short right field. Juan Brito's got that for the first out. So they finally make contact, and that brings up catcher Rafael Marchand. 1 out, 2-2 pitch, and he's going to hit this one into right field. And it's going to be caught by Rincones on the run for the second out. So that's 8 straight batters retired by Jack. That brings in center fielder Rafael Antigua. You've seen him in the Futures game before. And this is going to be a shot into center field. That's going to drop in front of Anthony. Rincones cuts it off. Holds him to a single now. So they have 1 on, 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Back to the top of the order, the Class A. 1-2 pitch. It's going to be a ground ball to short. Monty scoops, throw to second for the force, and there's 3 down. So Caglianone gives up the little single into right center field, and that's it. So the Sox continue to dominate here as we head to the 4th inning. And Art Rocha leading off the 4th here. 1-1 pitch, and that's going to be a smash into center field. He's going to have a second hit in his many at-bats. Rocha, late season, turning it on here. But the Sox would not score that inning. Strikeout and a double play would end the inning. Blue Jays pitched themselves out of a rally, and now we head to the 4th inning, bottom of 4th. DH Roberto Valdez up. Nobody on. 3-2 pitch. And it's a shot into left field. De La Rosa drifting back to the track to the wall, and it's gone. So Valdez golfs one off his shoe tops out to straightaway left field. And now we have a 2-1 game. Didn't look like it was a really good pitch to swing at, but he dropped the bat head and hit it out. So the Blue Jays climb back in, make it a 1-run game here. It's only the second hit allowed by Caglianone. That'll bring in Dante Bichette's son, Bo Bichette. Boba Bichette. And here's a ground ball to third, scoop by Rocha. Easy throw to first, and there's one out. Caglianone settles down after that home run. That'll bring in Melendez. Nobody on, one out. 3-1 pitches, high for ball 4, so Toronto gets a man on base. Trying to get this game tied here in the 4th inning. Got 1 on, 1 out. Will Wagner back up. 2-2 pitch, and he swings and misses on the cutter down and away for his second strikeout in as many at-bats. That's 7 Ks for Jack. And that's going to bring in left fielder Gabriel Martinez. And he chases a Vulcan change down and away as well. So strikes out the last 2 batters, gives up a home run to lead off the inning. Jack battles back. 8 Ks through 4. Sox lead 2-1 as we head to the 5th. And the Sox will get the first 2 batters on infield single by Brito, a single by De La Rosa. Monty strikes out. That brings up Anthony. And hits a ground ball to third, throw to second, on to first. And just like that, Toronto erases the rally with a double play. And keeps this game a 1-run game as we head to the bottom of the 5th. And the Sox are going to go to the bullpen. Caglianone doesn't have the greatest stamina. You can see what McLean's done on the year. Actually pitched much better than that record. But Jack struck out a whole bunch of guys, and that ran his pitch count up. So McLean coming in here, trying to keep this a 1-run game. And here's going to be a ground ball to Rocha. He's going to scoop that and throw to first, and there's 1 down. That'll bring in Marchand, the catcher. 1 out, nobody on, 1-2 pitch. And it's a line drive into center field. Anthony running in, and he's got it for the second out. That'll bring in center fielder Rafael Antigua. 2-2 pitch. Tapper to third. Rocha moves to his left, cuts it off and throws. And McLean comes in and shuts him down 1-2-3. Keeps this a 2-1 ball game as we head to the 6th. Jack will be up first. Still in the game as the DH. You can see he's 1 for 2 with a base hit. 3-2 pitch is going to shot down the left field line. Martinez runs over, and he's got it in fair territory for the first out. And the Sox will not score in that inning. And we're actually going to jump now to the top of the 8th inning. Nobody scored in top of the 8th. It's still 2-1. Jack is up. Looking for home run number 32. Looking for hit number 2 in the game. Looking for a big fly, and he gets it. Well, sometimes you got to speak it into existence, I guess. Inner half, and he just launched that deep to right. The right fielder, Clase, never even moved. So sometimes you just got to ask for it and you receive. So Jac Caglianone is 32nd homer of the year, adding on to his total, securing that Rookie of the Year award, we hope. And he gives the Sox a 3-1 lead. He's not going to be in line to get the win, but he can definitely help them secure a win. You can see his bat. We knew his bat was lethal, and he's showing us that his arm is just as lethal on the mound. Look at this shot. Clase never moved. Now we're going to jump to the 9th. Bottom of the 9th. 2 outs, nobody on. Stephen Kolek in, trying to get the save, and there's a tapper to first. Ward's got it, races to the bag, and that's it. Sox win, 3-1. Caglianone pitched well, he hit well. McLean comes in, gets the win. Kolek finishes it off for the save. Let's check out this box score. Bunch of guys with 2 hits. Caglianone, Rocha, Ward, Brito. Caglianone and Rocha both hit home runs. Brito had a leadoff triple one inning, got stranded. And you can see Caglianone, 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Only run allowed was on a home run. McLean does the job, gets the win. The rest of the bullpen does their job. And the Sox hand Toronto their 100th loss of the season. And Big Jack is proving that he can actually pitch at this level. Look at Toronto's side, 2 hits from Valdez, 1 hit from Lantigua. That was it. They only had 3 hits. Yasevich did not pitch bad. Actually, neither of the guys that went 4 innings pitched bad, but the Sox had more runs and they win 3-1. And we saw Jac's first start on the mound, and this was his second start. Went to the Cubs. White Sox lose 3-1. Jac went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts at the plate, but on the mound goes 6 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 7 Ks. A little more efficient there. Got much deeper into the game. McClain relieved him again and gave up 3 runs, and that was the difference in the game. But Jac is proving me wrong, and maybe I need to reconsider if we have him in the rotation or not. But strong start already, and we are almost halfway there to our 20 innings pitch that we're going to need to classify him as a two-way player. So second start was really good. Let's see what he did in his third one. And in Jac's third start, home game against the Rockies, the worst team in baseball. As you can see, 113 losses there. Chicago wins 3-2. Jac goes 0 for 2, and they actually pinch hit for him when he took him out of the game. I'm not sure why. But Edgar Caro hit a home run. Jac gets his first Major League win. 5 innings, 3 hits, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts, 1 run allowed. Walks are a bit alarming, but he's been striking out 7-8 guys every time. So the strikeouts are going to be there. Has not been giving up a ton of hits. So if he can keep those walks down, he's going to be very effective out of the rotation. You can see our bullpen pretty much did a stellar job the rest of the way. So that's 3 starts, and we've won 2 of them, and he finally got credit for a win here in start number 3. And his final start of the season at New York against the Mets. White Sox win 3-0. See Colson Montgomery 2 doubles. Jac had a triple. And the Sox win 3-0 as Jac gets his second win, goes 7 1/3, 5 hits, 4 walks, only 5 strikeouts, but no runs allowed. Man's been pitching incredible. That means in his 4 starts, he's given up 1, 0, 1, and 0 after giving up 4 runs in an inning in relief that was in a sim. So as a starting pitcher, he's gone 23 innings with 13 hits allowed, 2 runs, 9 walks, and 29 strikeouts with an 0.78 ERA. So we definitely need to reconsider that. And you can see the rest of the season here. We did sweep Miami at Miami. We did sweep Colorado at home. Ended up losing that last game of the season against the Mets, but we finished with a 71-91 record. You can see the first year we had 69 wins when we just straight simmed with the team that was already in the game. Then we lost 123 games, went 39-123 the next year with our Rule 5 guys, 58-104 last year, and improved up to 71-91 in this season. So we're incrementally getting better. Gotta love how this team is progressing. Let's go take a look at our AA stats. And AA, Birmingham Barons finished with the Trash Pandas in a tie for the Southern League North Division, but lost on the tiebreaker, and they will not be going to the playoffs. See their stats. Javier Moguian, deep potential. This guy rakes, even though he's a deep potential. Alfredo Villa, one of our draft picks, 245, 11 home runs, 11 stolen bases. He's got a good future at either first, second, or left field. Just got to get his all of his hitting stats over the 60s, and he should be a definite major league bat at some point. DJ Gladney, providing power again. He's just going to be one of those career minor league guys at this point. Harvey Williams, a potential first baseman we got. He's progressing well. He's up to a 64, still working on his contacts. He's got great power. And you can see 21 doubles, 17 home runs. Only walked 26 times, though, with 111 strikeouts. So he's just a big slugger. Roosevelt Chipper, he's a guy we picked up as an undrafted free agent after the draft. Great hitting skills. 21 doubles, 2 triples, 4 home runs, 20 stolen bases. So not bad. Grimsley is another guy we picked up. Great hit skills. I think we drafted him, if I'm not mistaken. Canning, I know we drafted, and he's not working out. Wes Kath was bouncing around between AAA and AA. Pitching side, Woody Phelps, one of our C potential draft picks, is pitching great. 132 hits in 179 innings with 170 strikeouts. Only 14 home runs, 49 walks allowed. 2.20 ERA, a 101 whip. For just a later round pick, C potential, the guy has been outstanding. So has Alan Conine, went in the same draft. 175 innings, only 159 hits. Again, 14 home runs, a few more walks, 164 strikeouts. So both of those 2 guys were a pleasant surprise the entire season. Was not expecting that, and maybe if they both keep pitching like this, they get a upgrade up to B potential. Cross your fingers, never know. Bullpen-wise, Brian Dill. It's only a 58 overall. He's pitching great. 3.28 ERA, I'll take that. Got to cut down the walks. Edgar Navarro, 62 overall, pitching great. Raul Franco, he's one of our relief pitcher draft picks from early in the rebuild. And again, got to cut down on the walks. And then Derek Denson again, 35 saves. This guy definitely needs an upgrade to a C. He's a D. We found him as an undrafted free agent as well. Let's go over and take a look at our AAA final stats. And the Charlotte Knights fell short by 1 game to the Bulls in the International League East. It's kind of a disappointment. We trying to get them to get this title, and they just fell short. And maybe I don't know if it was hitting or pitching. Let's go look at the stats here, because I want to say it was pitching, but we had decent spread stats. Chavis did great. Alvin Maddox got power and speed. Got to get that average up. Last year he hit 300 at both AA and AAA. Canone's bat, he should be hitting better than 264 with that contact. He's not going to have a lot of power, but he's got some speed. Terrell Tatum got boosted up to a C potential, but he dropped back on his average this year. Zavala, I'd love to get him to the majors because he's actually about the same rating as Jeremy De La Rosa, but he's only hitting 236. Again, he's got to work on the contact especially, so he'll probably start next year down in AAA again. Tim Elko is a D potential, and this dude just does nothing but rake. Dan Johnson, he was a catcher we drafted. Great contact, not a lot of power, good fielding outside of his arm. Damon Burke is the third baseman we took. His contact needs to go up. He's got enough power. He's got a great arm at third base. He can also play left field. Has great clutch, but got to work on the hit skills. Koperniak went back down, didn't do much. And you see at the bottom here, Dexter Watley only hit 191 at AAA. He was hitting great down in AA. We put him up there, let him go, and he struggled. Maybe that's part of the reason why they didn't win the division. Pitching side, this is not going to show Medrano stats. He had just outstanding pitching stats down here. But Ricky McCann, after missing most of last season, bounces back. Goes 12-7, 188 innings pitched, 170 hits, 21 home runs, 37 walks. That's great. 125 strikeouts. He's not a big strikeout guy, so whatever we get there is great. 3.10 ERA. Was below 3 all year. Kind of went up at the end. 110 whip is excellent. He's up to a 77 overall. His brother, Kevin McCann, who had a great year last year, struggled this year. Ended up with 209 hits and 173 innings. Didn't give up a lot of home runs. Strikeouts and walks about the same as his brother. He just gave up too many runs. I don't know if it was on him alone or bullpen as well. But his ERA was over 7 at one point for a good chunk of the season, so he did a lot of work to get that back under 5. So we'll just have to see how he does. Probably have both of those guys start next season in AAA, see how our Major League staff goes, and bring them up as needed. Chase Chaney, Sean Berg, Shane Drohan pitched great after we sent him back down to the minors. Probably deserved to come back up. But everybody up there was doing a decent enough job that we'll just stay there. So these guys are probably going to start. This is most likely going to be our AAA rotation next year. On the reliever side, Garrett Lewis, we moved him out of the closer role into a setup role. Really took off with 10 wins, 6 saves. A lot of those losses came as blown saves early in the season. And he really improved, and he will definitely be in our bullpen next year. Finally got his hits under his innings pitched. He only gave up 1 home run the whole year with 91 strikeouts and 98 innings. So he is definitely ready to go up to the show, replace some of those older relievers that are not cutting it. Enlow, we moved him from starter to reliever, pitched well down there. This guy is up or down. Max Roberts, he's D potential. Look at that, 67 overall. Doesn't look that outstanding, but he is constantly low ERA, low whip, and might have to consider moving him up to the major leagues at some point. And Paul Schnell's the same way. Excellent hits, strikeouts, and walks per 9. Got to worry about his pitching clutch, but a 128 ERA and an 0.89 whip. He may have pitched himself into the bullpen next year as well. Closer side, we moved Jared Kelly to the pen when Garrett Lewis was struggling, and look what happened. 40 saves. My goodness. 40 saves. Only 3 blown, 61 innings, 40 hits, 3 home runs, 13 walks, 41 strikeouts, a 131 ERA, and an 0.86 whip. He is definitely working his way into our bullpen next year as well onto Major League level. And we did draft 2 closers, so we could easily slide one into AAA as a closer and one into AAA as a setup guy and replace Kelly and Lewis at that level as they jump up to the majors. And you saw our final record earlier. Sox finished 71-91, 24 games back. But look at that. Almost 600 runs scored. We had a lot of trouble scoring runs the previous 3 seasons. Now, if we can just cut down on the runs allowed, that would greatly help our cause, get us into a playoff race. You can see right here, we finished 14 games back. We were sitting around 5, 6, 7 for a good chunk of the middle of the season. So if we can cut down on some blown saves and stop giving up a lot of runs in the bullpen, costing our starters wins as well, we may have a chance to jump up here. You can see 85 wins was the last playoff. So that's 14 wins more. And if we can improve by 14 wins, that would be excellent. Actually, next year, I just want us to be in the conversation. If we can get over 500, that's our goal. If we compete for the wild card, then that's just gravy. Look at our player stats. Jac finished 170 hits, led the team, 34 homers, 89 RBI, threw in 3 steals. This is other extra base, 33 doubles and 5 triples. So the guy was an extra base machine. 359 on base is pretty good. 523 slugging is really good. 882 OPS is really good. Did have 65 walks. Got to cut down the strikeouts, but we know that's part of his thing. He's just going to strike out a lot. Even at 8 hit by pitch. And basically being a DH the whole year, he had a few games at first base, but he had 3.8 WAR. And you can see he has two-way designation. I have already gone in and added outfield. If you look at that fielding over there, 73 fielding, 77 arm accuracy, 78 reaction, and 98 arm, that would be wasted at first base. So I gave him outfield, and we're going to put him in right field in spring training and see how he does. And if he can handle right field, that opens up DH for guys like Alvin Maddox or Dexter Watley or someone along those lines. Now give us a lot more flexibility in our batting order. You can see his stats here. Goes 2-0 with a 2.25 ERA, 29 strikeouts in 24 innings, only 17 hits allowed, 2 home runs. Hitting side, again, we saw that earlier. So the guy is primed, and we'll just see if we can improve our entire team by moving him to outfield. And I've already moved him back to starting pitcher. That's why his overall jumped to 80. And I'm thinking he's going to at least be the number 5 starter next year. And if he struggles, then we'll just put him back in the bullpen and bring McLean or one of the 2 McCanns up and fill that spot and see how that goes. See, Colson dipped back down to 242. Look at his stats. So last year he hit 278, had about the same power, about the same RBIs. Well, I'll take that back, 16 less. It's because he had almost 20 hits less, but he scored more runs. Jac was driving him in, didn't steal as many bases, walked more, struck out more. So a little bit, I wouldn't even call it really a sophomore slump, maybe just a little bit of a sophomore slide. Roman Anthony, his rookie year only hit 239, slugged under 400, so we got to get that up. 15 home runs though, 11 steals. Art Rocha, he was the guy that just was really surprising the entire season. 28 home runs, 89 RBIs, ties him with Caglianone for the most on the team. Hits 269. Doesn't have a lot of walks, only 28 walks, but slugged over 500, gave us that extra bat in the middle of the order. And really, really excited about that. You can see his doubles stayed the same, his hits stayed the same, his home runs went up 9, RBIs went up 20, his walks dipped, but so did his strikeouts. He dropped almost 50 strikeouts. So slugging went up, on base went up, average went up, and he's going to be a fixture in our lineup going forward. Ryan Ward, career high in home runs. His average is a little bit low. He is 29, C potential. We'll see if he makes the team. He can stay on the team as a backup, but we might have to try and find some younger players. Brito did serviceable at second and third, and we have other options that we can use there. De La Rosa, remember he got injured earlier. He would have had way more at-bats and counting numbers than that, but he's been playing well. He's see, he went up in his home runs, dropped in his RBI, and that's just because he was hurt. So he is about what he is, 260, 270 hitter. He has a little bit of pop and plays good defense. Cole Carrig, he was up and down all year with his average. He finished cold, hit 243. Excellent defense, great speed from a catcher, 6 stolen bases. Edgar Caro was really struggling, but once he progressed, you can see his across-the-board progression. Once he got up to an 80 overall, then I stuck him in the lineup and played him every day against both lefties and righties because he hits lefties well. And he's probably going to start the season next year as our starting catcher against both sides, and we'll move Carrigan to a backup role We can also use him as a backup outfielder. Rincones played against righties, only hit 206. His platoon partner, where'd he go? I think the game sent him down. His platoon partner was Andrew Pinckney. Let's go in here. I hate when the game does this. It moves guys up and down after the season's over, and we're not even in the playoffs. Yeah, it dropped him down to AAA. See, Pinckney hit 214 with only 4 home runs. Remember, one of those was a pinch hit grand slam against the Red Sox. So he's probably not in our plans for next year, especially if we move Jack to right field. Then he becomes a backup and he goes to the minors. Get back to the stats here. Kasevich is just a backup at this point. He may not even make the team next year. Angel Martinez, that was our guy we snagged in the very end of spring training. Got him going through conditional waivers, and he can play everything but first base and catcher, so he's going to definitely be on the team. Hits really well against lefties. He'll be on the team as a backup player next year. Groshans, he was injured and he didn't play well when he was healthy, so it's possible he may go down to the minors. We may use Art Rocha at third base full-time. We can still have an outfield of Jack and Anthony and De La Rosa. Rocha at third, Ward or somebody else at first, and Monty at short. We'll see what's going on there. You know, if I decide to really go crazy and bring up some young guys, we may end up moving Rocha to first base, and that would take care of the first base spot. Colby Thomas was just a September call-up, and McLean is a two-way player that hasn't had enough at-bats to qualify as a two-way player. Pitching side, Hagen Smith led the team with 183 innings pitched, 8-16, had some tough luck games where he should have got a win, but the bullpen blew it. And he struggled a little bit down the stretch. Still, though, if you look at his full stats here, less hits than innings pitched, less home runs, less walks, more strikeouts, ERA lowered by over a full run, whip down by 0.3, roughly, 17 quality starts, 3.2 WAR, about the same Ks per 9, lower walks per 9, lower home runs per 9, lower FIP. It's a much better season, hoping he can take another step next year. Davey Garcia had some really good starts. He had some really bad starts. See, he won 13 games. That was good, but he gave up more hits than innings pitched. Gave up 30 home runs for the second year in a row. Did have more strikeouts and less innings pitched. But the 4.6 ERA to 1.3 whip, it's just looks like he's about at his high point. He's not going to get much better than that. Cade Cavalli, he also pitched well at times. Only 2 more hits than innings pitched. 22 home runs was less than last year. It's actually the fewest he's given up in any full season. But he also had fewer strikeouts this year. So he's a placeholder until some of those young guys can develop. Anthony Medrano, we watched him pitch at multiple levels this year. 9-10 on the season and 24 starts. Less hits than innings pitched. Only 8 home runs. Only 36 walks. 83 strikeouts. He's never going to strike out a ton. Great ERA and whip. 14 quality starts out of 24 starts. And look at that, home runs per 9, walks per 9. He's, like I said, he's just never going to strike out a ton of players, but you know, he pitches like that, I'll take it. And Shane Drohan, he was only up for 8 games. We sent him back down. I'm not sure why the game brought him back up. He didn't pitch after early in the season, and he had a rough one, and he's probably going to be in the minor leagues from here going out. We already looked at Jack. Bullpen-wise, Nolan McLean pitched most of those innings in the rotation before Jack was moved into his spot in September to get his 20 innings pitched. Still less hits than innings pitched. 20 home runs, fewer than the last time he threw that many innings. Did walk more, struck out about the same. So hopefully he'll have a better season next year, pitching in long relief. Coutinho pitched better than his last ERA. Kolek, we moved him to a closer because Bellotti was regressing hard, and Kolek was probably our best pitcher at that point, so that's why he ended up with 11 saves. He was also a all-star. Jose Hernandez should pitch better than that with those ratings. Same thing with Ian Jabot. And I don't know why it brought Jared Kelly up. He didn't pitch in the majors. Let's go back and look at Bellotti. You can see how bad he's regressing. -8 on home runs, -6 in control. And 27 saves, but 35 strikeouts, 33 walks, 36 hits, only 42 innings, and 7 home runs allowed. That's just not closer material. So at age 35 and regressing like that, he's probably going to be sent to the minors, even though we're going to pay him $850,000. So, and you have to see this. Bobby Witt Jr. wins the American League MVP. Shohei wins the National League. Dylan Cease wins the American League Cy Young. Jared Jones wins the National League Cy Young. Aaron Judge wins the American League batting title. William Contreras on the National League side. Ian Hamilton is the American League reliever of the year. Brian Hudson, reliever of the year, second year in a row for him. Jack wins American League Rookie of the Year, which is what we expected. Tampa Bay's Alex Ramirez comes in second. This Kaider Montero, he's a starting pitcher. He was pitching mostly in relief, and he was starting to creep up and fell back at the very end. National League side, Lionel Cottrell. You can see what he is. Excellent hitter there. Wow, he was a C potentially, moved up to a B. Okay. 35 home runs, 91 RBI, so the Cubs have a really good slugger there. Matt Wallner, Hank Aaron for the American League, Kyle Tucker for the National League, and we'll quickly go just through the Gold Gloves and Silver Sluggers in the American League. You got Minaya, Austin Wells, Ivan Melendez, Tyro Estrada, Oswaldo Cabrera, Ceddanne Raphael, Riley Green, Vance Honeycutt, Adolis Garcia. Silver Sluggers, Eloy just beats out Jack. Well, the 101 RBIs is going to do it. So Jack came close to getting a Silver Slugger. Corey Lee, Silver Slugger at catcher. Jonah Bride at first. Colt Keith at second. Rafael Devers at third. Bobby Witt at short. Mike Trout, Brent Rooker, and Riley Green in the outfield. And we haven't played the postseason yet, so let's hop into that right now. As you can see, Arizona was the number 1 seed in the National League. Atlanta was second. Pittsburgh third. Washington 4. Dodgers 5. Philadelphia 6. Over the American League side, Minnesota's still number 1. Texas 2. Yankees 3. Detroit 4. Seattle 5. Oakland 6. So we have the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series 2027. Number 3 seed gets the number 5 seed. Yankees win game 1. Dodgers win game 2. Dodgers win game 3. Dodgers win game 4. So Dodgers are up 3-1. Yankees get it back to a 3-2. Yankees trying to come all the way back, down 3-1. We're at 3-3 as we go to game 7. And the Yankees, down 3-1, come all the way back and beat the Dodgers in game 7 to win the World Series. Let's go check out this box score. Game 7. You can see the Yankees down 3-1, come back and win 3 in a row. They score 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th. So it was 3-2. It was actually tied 2-2. Dodgers go up in the top of the 8th. Yankees score 4 in the bottom. Looks like Oswaldo Cabrera, 3-run shot. Cortez did not pitch bad. Beater gets the win in relief. The other side, Evan Phillips takes the loss, gives up 3 runs in a third of an inning. You can see Austin Wells, World Series MVP, hits .409 with 3 home runs and 7 RBI. Aaron Judge is the American League playoff MVP. Alex Freeland, shortstop for the Dodgers. I haven't know much about him. 260 on the year. Okay. He was the National League postseason MVP. But Austin Wells, World Series MVP. It's the Yankees' second World Series in 3 years. And that's going to wrap it up here for season number 4. As we improve, get to up to 71 and 91. I think next year we can take another jump. Maybe they'll get us over 500, get us a chance to compete for a wild card late into the season. So I don't know about you guys, but I really like the way the team is rounding up. Our pitching, our young pitching is looking excellent. We may have a dominant staff in another year or two. Definitely in 2 years, we should have some really good pitchers. My worry is we're going to have 5 left-handed pitchers in the rotation. I'm not really looking forward to that. That's not ideal, but well, we'll see what happens. And we still haven't found a generational player in any draft. So see how that goes. I will show you this. We had the second worst in the American League. And so we're tied with the Cardinals for the 5th worst record. So we're in the top 5. We'll have to do the draft lottery next episode. So see where we are. If we stay the same, we move up, we drop down. Hopefully if we drop down, we don't go down too far. But we'll get into that with the next episode. So if you like what you've seen so far, please like, subscribe, comment, share it out. I appreciate any feedback you guys have, good or bad. And I will see you next time on the Chicago White Sox Draft Only Franchise.